Yo, this the kid Big Skunky. Now listen, earlier today I started this video to come and show you guys how to start your seeds indoors, getting ready for the springtime. But unfortunately, I didn't have my mic on and the video had no sound. Now, these are the little seed starting kits. My cousin actually bought me one of these. He bought himself one and he bought me one. So thank you to Cornelius. Thank you, Cornelius. I call him C Murder. He know who I'm talking about. Thank you for purchasing this for me. Now, these little kits come with the tray and it comes with this plastic dome that goes over the top of it, which makes a humidity dome for your seeds to keep them humid in order for them to sprout. They also come with these little peat pellets right down here at the bottom, and you have to add water to them to get them to expand to this size right here. So here's the tray of peat pellets. As you can see, the peat pellets are very, very small, and they're pretty hard too. Now around these peat pellets, you have this little biodegradable netting. Now in this scene right here, I'm using a cup of hot water to get these peat pellets to expand. I warn you people, please do not use cold water. If you use cold water, it will take an extremely long time for them to expand to their full potential. Hot water works best. And these peat pellets are already sterile, and the hot water also helps to sterilize them even more. And that's all you do is just pour the hot water over the top of them. Now, in this scene right here, I should have stopped at the first cup of hot water, but they had not expand all of the way as big enough as I wanted them. So I used the second cup of hot water, which was probably way too much. But these are peat pellets, peat moss, and it absorbs moisture pretty well, and they'll be okay. Oh, yeah. Now, here's what they look like after I got them all expanded. Sometimes you have to open up this little netting that's on the peat pellets. This little netting around the side is biodegradable, means that it will degrade in your soil. So this is great for beginner gardeners and for experienced gardeners. The upside to it is that you don't have to take these out to transplant them. You can just transplant. Soon as you see your seedlings start to sprout and start to grow, you take this whole thing, put it in a pot, cover it up with some soil, and your seeds are going to continue to thrive and grow, which limits the amount of stress and transplant shock that you give into your trees if you was transplanting them out of like a cup or from one pot to the next pot. Now, the downside to these is that these little peat moss pellets have little to no nutrient. Actually, they don't have any nutrients in them. They don't have any nutrients. In this starter kit, it came with these. These are little markers that you can write on so you can write what vegetable or fruit it is that you're actually planting into these little pellets. The last thing you want to do is forget what you planted into each one of these pellets. Now we're going to let them sit in this tray for 2 hours. The reason why I let them sit for 2 hours is because we water them with that hot water, and that hot water will harm the seeds that you put inside of these. So we're going to let them rest for 2 hours, absorb that water, and come back down to room temperature. And then we'll start the process of putting our seeds inside of these. And we're going to use this chopstick to make holes and to put our seeds inside of these little peat pellets. First, we're going to go with tomatoes. And these are the beef steak tomatoes. We'll just start right here. That's one. That's two. And there's three. We have the cherry tomatoes. We're also going to do some peppers. Okay, people, so I'm going to go ahead on and plant the seeds that I'm going to be growing this year just to start the year off. I'm going to go ahead on and place them inside of these peat pellets. Let's start right over here. I hope you guys can see this. These are the beefy tomato seeds. What you want to do is just push them down just a little bit and cover them up with just a little bit of the little peat moss. Please take your time when you're doing this. This is the part of the game where you really, really, really take your time while you're doing this. Now, I know you're probably wondering, Skunky, why you plant so many seeds in one? Because all of these may sprout and all of these may not sprout. You know, I have 4 seeds in here. Only 2 of them may sprout. And in one of these other ones, none of the seeds may sprout. So now I still, I kind of double the ratio of what I'm trying to get still. Now with those little bitty seeds, I will say it's kind of hard not to cover them all of the way up, because they're so small. So you kind of have to try to like just barely push them down a little bit, move the dirt around a little bit, and just let them get covered that way. They will sprout if they don't. They don't necessarily have to be all the way buried. To be honest with you, I've seen seeds sprout where you just throw them on top of the dirt, and hey, they'll take off. Long as the temperature is right, the humidity, and it has moisture and stuff like that, a little heat. Oh yeah, they'll take off. We put our seeds in there. We've planted them down into the soil. Now we just want to mist them. Nothing too heavy. It's gonna, we don't want to move the soil around. We just want to moisten them to get the seeds to settle in place. That's it. Now up under this is a heat mat. That's a heat mat right here. Now that heat mat does not get very, very hot to where it's gonna set a fire or anything like that. I know you're wondering like, why you got the heat mat up under a towel, Skunky? And that's only because this piece of glass that I got it sitting on is kind of cool. And I don't want the tray to be, I need something to insulate it. You take this little tray right here and you stick it right on top. Now I wanted you guys to see how humid this thing will get. This is only after about 30 minutes. That heat mat heats up the bottom to the proper temperature for sprouting seeds. And that little plastic tray, like I said, works as a humidity dome. So it's going to keep it nice and humid in there. Now I know y'all probably wondering, where are the labels that you said you was going to put on your stuff, Skunky? Well, what I did was I just wrote out a little chart. Tried to mimic the same squares of the seeds tray, and I just wrote it out and set it the same way that I have the tray placed. I also want to add, now with this humidity tray, it's a good thing. It can be a gift and a curse. So you may want to like, kind of turn it sideways just so you can get some kind of air circulation through the tray. But for right now, this thing is perfectly fine. And in about 5 to 7 days, in some cases, it may take 7 to 14 days for those tomatoes and those bell peppers to sprout. But hey, as long as we got that heat mat up under there, it's going to provide the right temperature for them. They have moisture, they have the humidity dome on them. At this point, people, you don't need no light. You don't need any light because we're just trying to get germination. Once we start seeing them poke their little heads up out of the soil, then we can add light. Oh yeah, and you tell them I said that. Hashtag that. Big Skunky, you smell me. Hey, y'all stay tuned, man. Springtime is almost here, baby. And I can't wait. I'm so ready to get to growing. Ooh, man, I can really show y'all some stuff now. Oh, yeah.